Alessia Cara had the perfect debut, then the industry moved on without her by Nessie Nova. Let's get into it. I'm Stilo, by the way. Hope you're having a wonderful day.
The Best New Artist Award at the 2018 Grammys caused a lot of controversy involving Alessia Cara and SZA.
With like the whole like Grammy moment, I felt guilty. Like I felt guilt for winning something that I had no control over. I felt bad. I felt guilty.
When y'all gonna start paying attention to my sister Alessia Cara?
Sorry, but it's time we acknowledge that Alessia Cara is underrated.
It's harder to be yourself in this industry than it is to do the other thing. Everybody is their bravest self when they're behind a screen, and I get it, fans are very passionate, as they should be, but yeah, you just have to remember that's not reality. And I don't.
It's scary to be original because there's no blueprint for it. I mean, no idea is original, but being as original and authentic as you can is scary because you don't know. There's no guarantee whether or not someone is gonna like you for you, and that's the risk a lot of like great artists take. Because the reason why it's easy to do what everyone else is doing because there's a proof of concept that is working. So if I do what this popular artist is doing, I won't stand out. But then again, I won't be ridiculed as much if I try to be myself, like super original. You may get roasted. You may get roasted by the internet, and then they may come around and be like, you know what, they were really on to something. But in the immediate time, like when it's happening, I could see how being original in the music industry could be brutal for artists.
I don't think any of those people would say that to my face. I don't think they'd come up to me on the street and wish me death.
The music industry moves fast. One day you're everywhere on the charts, at the award shows, all over social media, and then one day you're just not. No controversy, no massive failure, just silence. We've seen it happen to a lot of artists, but with Alessia Cara, it felt different because she didn't burst onto the scene with a viral gimmick or a manufactured image. She showed up with actual talent, a distinct voice, and songs that actually meant something. She had what most new artists dream of, a massive debut, a Grammy, respect from both critics and fans. And yet, somewhere along the way, the spotlight just dimmed and the industry just kinda moved on without her. The buzz died down, the headlines stopped, and her name slowly disappeared from the playlist that once celebrated her.
Here's the thing, the lane that Alessia Cara is in. Also, she's with Def Jam. I don't know if Def Jam even knows what to do with Alessia Cara. I really don't. Because they went through like a regime change and they had a different A&R. They completely revamped operations over there since she's been signed. She's been signed to Def. I'm pretty sure she's still signed to Def Jam. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comment box down below. Don't mind it. But I think that even if she had a solid team and she was in a label situation that didn't change miraculously because everybody plays musical chairs in this industry, I still think the type of music that she makes and the type of branding that she is more of a slow burn. It's more of a like organic type of like cult like audience. Like I put her in the vein of like a Cleo Soul in the way that like you can be culturally revered, but if your label may see you as a pop act, but you may not have the music or personality for that, and that's okay. That doesn't make you a failure, but there has to be clear expectations and a clear understanding between you as the artist and your team and whoever you're signing to, that like what you have envisioned for me isn't realistic for me. And I think that may be the same thing that's really happening with Alessia, that happens with a lot of artists. It's just that we're not seeing eye to eye on what the vision is for me personally. So I think let me do that research real quick. Let me see if she's on Def Jam. Hold on. Alessia Cara. Let's see. Condition. Synesthesia, keratosis, fluorosis, alopecia. She struggles with mental health and insomnia. This also could be a thing too. The mental health of artists. That's a whole different subject for a different day. But all those can happen when it comes to just figuring out why an artist didn't live up to the hype or get to the heights that their fans thought they would, get to. Love and hyperbole. Yeah, she's still on Def Jam. Okay, so she may need to look elsewhere in terms of like going forward because I didn't even know this album came out. I had no idea. Yeah. Also, we're in an era where a lot of things slip through the cracks because artists rely on social media to promote their work and things get buried in the algorithm all the time. It's just so much noise. So I don't necessarily blame her for that. There's a lot of factors in that, to be honest.
Hello everybody, it's Nessie. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. This is the story of how Alessia Cara had one of the strongest pop debuts of the last decade and still somehow got swept under the rug. This video isn't about discrediting her. If anything, it's about the opposite. How someone so talented with all the right ingredients ended up quietly fading from the spotlight, because sometimes the music industry doesn't care how good you are, and Alessia Cara is proof. Let's go all the way back to 2015. Pop music.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is important.
You're not sorry to interrupt me. You're not
The
sorry.
shooter who murdered my sweet little Daniel.
Ain't nobody trying to. I hope you find justice for your kid, but you're ruining. Is it insensitive to say that this is ruining my mood?
It was shiny, upbeat, and full of perfect hair and choreographed dance routines. Selena Gomez was singing about hands to herself.
Can't keep my hands to myself.
Justin Bieber was apologizing, and The Weeknd was finally getting radio play for singing about drugs with a high note.
One of the greatest Weekend lines of all time is "Don't believe the rumors, I'm still a user." That is a crazy line to say as a pop star.
Out of nowhere came Alessia Cara, an 18-year-old Canadian girl singing about standing in the corner at a party she didn't even want to attend. Here wasn't just a song, it was a moment. It was anti-pop, but
I would say if you're an introvert and you didn't want to be at the party, what are you doing at the party? But if your ride, like she's 17 probably, and she probably didn't have her own ride there. So I remember when I was like, what are you doing at a party you don't want to be at? And since you're there, you might as well socialize. But this was like 2015. I was like 22 or something like that. So I was like, you just gonna kill the, like, you're gonna be here with us. You might as well just mingle a little bit as much as your social battery allow you to. Don't bring down my mood because your friends dragged you out the house. Don't give me the bad energy. I came here to have a good time. Imagine bumping into Alessia Cara, who hates this whole event, and you just trying to make conversation with her and she's just moping around. I'd be sick. I'd be upset. I ain't gonna lie.
Somehow very pop at the same time, and this is why it blew up. Not because of a label push, not because of a viral dance challenge, but because the song was that relatable. It felt honest, not packaged, not tested by marketing teams, just real. She literally posted acoustic covers on YouTube. She had no slashy wardrobe, her hair wasn't styled by a high fashion glam squad. She looked like a normal teenage girl who got lost.
She may benefit from going the Ray route, because Ray had a lot of label troubles earlier. The singer Ray, the singer Ray, the British UK singer. And since that Alessia Cara is like one of her bigger influences was Amy Winehouse, she may benefit from just leading with her talent instead of leading with like pop. Like, you're not a pop star. You're not really a pop artist. You're really a soul artist because you have a soulful voice. In my opinion, she may come across this video, her team, and be like, you don't know us. And that's fine. That's super fine. That's fair. But how I see her as leading with her voice and leading like Ray leads with her talent and her musicality and just the uniqueness, of her voice. Like, you know how like Tori Kelly is known for just going to shows and just killing it vocally. But I can't name you one Tori Kelly lead single. I just know Tori Kelly for being an outstanding vocalist. We should just know Alessia Cara for her talent. Like, if nothing else, that girl can sing. Like, they should be leading with that. Like, getting her as many opportunities as she can to just display her voice. It's like what rappers do. Like, When rappers can't cut through on a single wise, send them to the radio station, have them freestyle, have them rap. You should lean on what you do best. And I just think that is with life in general. You lead with your best qualities. You don't lead what you think people would want from you, because you just end up confusing yourself and setting yourself back. Lead with what you're good at.
And accidentally walked into the music industry, and the people loved it. Her debut album, Know It All, followed shortly after, and it was just as refreshing. Songs like 17
That was fire. That song's fire.
and Scars to Your Beautiful tackled everything from growing pains to body image, and again, she didn't preach, she just told the truth. It was vulnerable in a way pop rarely is. There was no manufactured empowerment, no overproduced drama, just a girl in oversized sweaters telling you what it felt like to exist in a world that demanded perfection when you didn't even want to be looked at. What made Alessia's debut perfect wasn't just the music, it was the timing. The industry needed a reset. Audiences were tired of the same three writers rolling out hits for every artist, and here came this girl writing her own stuff, talking about not wanting to be famous while becoming famous. And the best part, her voice was actually good. Not good for a YouTuber, not good for a teenager, just good, period. She didn't rely on gimmicks, there was no era or aesthetic. Alessia was the aesthetic, casual, self-aware, and emotionally intelligent beyond her years. But unfortunately, the industry that praised her for not being like others eventually lost interest for the same reason.
That's the hard part, is finding a way to sustain that, but also like that type of genuine and self-awareness may benefit from just a realignment in terms of figuring out whether or not you still want to be part of the major label system, or if you want to take a break and go independent. But I don't know. It seems like they still have a great relationship at Def Jam, so maybe she's like, everything's fine over here, and they're happy where they're at. They could just be happy. We could just be speculating that, like, you know, the industry moved on without her, but she's still on Def Jam. She's been on Def Jam her entire career. So did the industry really move on without her, or did some people just stop caring? I think there's a clear distinction there.
So, after a debut that felt almost too good to be true, you'd think the next step was superstardom, like Grammy performances, a chart-dominating sophomore album, maybe even a signature perfume, right? Well, kind of, but also not really. Let's talk about the Grammy win.
Alessia Cara.
In 2018, Alessia Cara won Best New Artist, one of the most talked about categories in the entire show. And to be clear, she deserved it. This wasn't a case of why, who. She had a breakout hit, a strong debut album, and she was vocally and lyrically better than half the playlist that year. But the internet had other plans. People weren't mad because she wasn't talented, they were mad because by the time she won, her debut had already come and gone. It had been over 2 years since he...
Same old phone? Nah. Upgrade to the new Galaxy Z Fold 7.
Here.
Now, some people agreed with the Grammys that Alessia deserved to win the award, but a lot of other people said that SZA was completely snubbed, especially because Alessia wasn't super new at the time.
To make it worse, she won over artists like SZA and Khalid, who at the time were super visible. It's not that Alessia didn't earn it, it's that she didn't feel like the shiny new toy anymore. And in an industry obsessed with what's next, perception can kill momentum. And also, it didn't help that Alessia, being the thoughtful and self-aware person she is, actually...
She said something very important. Perception can kill momentum. That's probably the most poignant thing that I've heard that stuck out so far in this video, which is this industry's predicated on perception. I think perception precedes talent. in the way that if I think you're one way, if I decide to box you in, or if other people decide to classify you as this, or this is how I thought your career should go, or this is how I thought you should be, then the artist has to fight even harder. They have to fight against the tide. And that's on top of making great music. And I just think that artists get tired of that shit. I really do. I just think that it's easier for just artists to just, some artists, just to make the music and not really be too loud, not really be, I think a lot of artists shy away from like big hit records. Like, I feel like there's a lot that comes with it. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of attention that can completely shift their game plan. It can completely shift that perception. And it complicates things. Success is not defined by us when it comes to artists. Artists define their own, they define their own success. And oftentimes our vision for them does not match. Who's to say that Alessia wanted any of this shit? Nessie Nova just said it earlier in the video that like she didn't want to be seen, but her talent commanded her to be seen. But she doesn't seem like someone that is thirsty for validation. I just think she likes making music and likes expressing herself. She likes the art, and everything that comes with it is a plus. And then she has to balance out how much of herself she wants to give to the public. And if that comes at a cost, everything comes at a cost. And maybe this comes at a cost to her personal life, her family life, her hobbies. You know, artists have a life outside of this. And we like to think that this should be just their life. This should be the thing that consumes her, you know. You should live to impress us. You should live to perform for us. You should live to be the soundtrack to the moments in our life. But what about them? What if that doesn't serve them? And do we just move on at that point? It's, you know, artists can be discarded and disposable. And I just think that it goes back to what I said earlier. Just like, did the industry move on without her, or did some people stop caring?
Responded to the backlash. She didn't defend herself with arrogance. She didn't clap back. She posted this. That post alone should have shut it down, but unfortunately it didn't. Instead of being allowed to actually...
I kind of want some more time with that.
Backlash. She didn't defend herself with arrogance. She didn't clap back. She posted this.
To address the apparent backlash regarding winning something I had no control over, I didn't log on to Grammy.com and submit myself. That's not how it works. I didn't ask to be submitted either because there are other artists that deserve the acknowledgement. But I was nominated and won. And I am not... Your label can submit your album to be considered and could submit. But I understand what she's saying. She said, I myself did not ask to be submitted. So that could be a team or label thing that's beyond her control. Upset about something. I'm not going to be upset about something I've wanted since a kid. Not to mention have worked really hard for. I meant everything I said about everyone deserving the same shot. There is a big issue in the industry that perpetuates the idea that an artist's talent and hard work should take a back seat to popularity and numbers. And I'm aware that my music wasn't released yesterday. I'm aware of that. Yes, my music has become fairly popular in the last year, but I'm trying very hard to use the platform I've been given to talk about these things and bring light to issues that aren't fair, all while trying to make the most of the weird, amazing success I've been lucky enough to have. I will not let everything I've worked for be diminished by people taking offense to my accomplishments and feeling the need to tell me how much I suck. Here's something fun. I've been thinking I suck since I was old enough to know what sucking meant. Ooh. Sometimes you could be a little too vulnerable, especially like as a pop star. When you're a pop artist, they see you as a product. So there is a fine line, but she doesn't care. That's what got her here, the vulnerability and being relatable. And she's going to lead with that. She's going to lead with her vulnerability, self-awareness, and her talent, which I don't blame her for. I've beat you to it. And that's why this means a lot to me. Despite my countless insecurities, I've been showing that what I've created is worth something, that people actually give a shit. All the years feeling like I wasn't good at anything or that I was naive for dreaming about something improbable have paid off in a way that I've yet to process. I know it sounds cheesy and dumb, but it's the honest truth. Thanks to everyone who's showing me kindness and support along the way. I'll stop talking now. She's a sweetheart. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's hard to hate people like this. It's just like it's also easy just to move on when. Yeah, the industry seems brutal for artists, especially those that just like want to just make music and just and just be a human. Like that's just such a foreign concept for artists. Like I just want to be a human. I want to have emotions. I want to have thoughts. I want to have feelings. I want to have feelings, and I want to live imperfectly. That's what life is about. You make your mistakes. You have your flaws, and the industry kind of conditions and allows for artists to be stuck to being that Peter Pan syndrome of never growing and never growing up, because growing up is so closely associated with being pushed out, because music industry culture is all about youth culture, and there's always going to be a younger, newer act behind you. So it's just like it's easy for people to forget about, because it's just like we've moved on the industry, so to speak, in terms of just media. But her team still believes in her, so her team could have given up on her. That's when she gets bad. But since she had a major label release in 2025, that's a good thing.
That post alone should have shut it down, but unfortunately it didn't. Instead of being allowed to actually enjoy her win, Alessia became the example people pointed to when they talked about Grammy misfires, which, let's be honest, it's so unfair considering the Grammys have literally snubbed Beyonce like 500 times, but the damage was done. Public perception had already shifted. She went from the authentic girl with the big voice to, is she actually still around? And this is the part where the industry cycle really kicks in. It's the unspoken pattern. Debut artist blows up, wins an award, gets backlash, disappears.
I do think after this moment, because it's framed in the video that she took a decline, she actually got a #1 with Logic after this. I think 1-800, that the hotline record came after this, if I'm not mistaken. If it came before this, excuse me, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that it just continued to go up, and then it kind of hit a stabilizing moment. I don't think she did this and then did that. I think she did this. This is how I look at Alessia Cara. She was like, okay, all right, slowly climbing, and then she hit a high, and then she kind of came back down and is doing this right now. Not failing, not killing it. She's just doing this, which is perfectly fine.
It happens way more than it should, and it almost always happens to artists who don't.
When your kid is hurt,
Nessie Nova's killing it on the ads right now. Make your money, make your coin, girl.
Can do about it.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip this though for reaction purposes.
The fame game. This reminds me of Tori Kelly.
Yeah, she's very similar. Very similar, yeah.
I actually made a whole video about Tori Kelly and how the industry failed her, so if you're interested, please check it out. But yeah, because Alessia didn't stir up drama, she didn't manufacture scandals, she did not reinvent her image for shock value, so the industry, with its short attention span and thirst for virality, quietly looked elsewhere. Alessia was too quiet for chaos, too wholesome for headlines,
too quiet for chaos. I like that.
Sincere for drama, and in an age where controversy is currency, that can leave you broke even if you're actually talented. After the whirlwind of her debut era, the platinum plaques, the Grammy, the think pieces, all eyes were on what Alessia would do next. This was supposed to be her reaffirmation, her confirmation, the I'm not just a one-album wonder moment. But then came the pain of growing, her second studio album. Now, before we get into the numbers, let's talk about the actual music, because that's the part everyone conveniently forgets. The album was actually really good.
It's the suit, man. I didn't like the suit look for her for this album rollout. Me personally, I'm not thinking she should go all dolled up and all like glitz and glamoury, but there's other wardrobe choices that I think would have worked for her that I don't think this particularly landed. I think the actual branding of the album, because some artists just take a lot of talented artists that are focused music first. There has to be a character that comes with it, right? And then she's embodying a character. But all I could see is this big ass suit, man. I couldn't see her. I couldn't see the connection with what she was going for with the music, like, and what Nessie Nova has said. This was a really good album.
Introspective, mature, and deeply personal. She leaned into a more sophisticated sound, a little more indie, a little more stripped back. The lyrics were reflective and honest in a way that showed she wasn't trying to chase trends. She was just trying to grow, emotionally, artistically, all of it. She wrote or co-wrote every song. She even executive produced the album herself. She wasn't hiding behind big-name producers or waiting for someone to hand her a hit. This was her project 100%. But here's the thing about being genuine in pop music. It doesn't always translate to sales. The lead single, Growing Pains,
And I guess the bad can get better. Gotta be wrong before it's right.
was actually what it sounded like. Raw, awkward, and brutally honest, but unfortunately it didn't crack the top 40. The next single, Trust My Lonely,
Go get your praise from someone else. You didn't know.
And the singles are big records. They're aiming, like Def Jam is like, you could be you, but we need bigger records, which means the visual got to cut through more. Here's the thing: the visual has to cut through more. That's what I think. I think the music is fine. She's fine. She's killing it musically because she's led on her talent. So you either have to, she should be hitting your NPRs, your Tiny Desk. You should be doing like, remember MTV Unplugs? You should be doing those type of consistently. If the visual aspect is not going to be more noisy, so to speak, that's lack of a better word, you have to lean in just raw performances. You can go raw in terms of just, or you can do like I think with her, either a live visual album or a live performance to where like it looks like Broadway in the way, let me explain. The set, the like she's just right here singing from the mic. Excuse me about that. And like the setting that it's changing around her, right? If she had like a Broadway live visual aspect, but it has to be consistent though. Like it has to be consistent. If you're looking to be in people's faces, that has to be consistent. You have to lead with just like, you have to be on people's mind consistently if you want to go the pop star route. But you can go to like super like artist route where you just like a Cleo Sol, like a Tori Kelly, like one of them type of artists, like, or like Sade. You can keep going. And, I mean, it's kind of hard to be Sade in this era. But if you wanted to be artist first, you can do that. It's just that you can't expect to be going platinum. It's not going to happen. It's just not. Not in this era.
had a cute groove to it, but still radio didn't care. Streaming didn't push it, and the general public was too busy watching the rise of TikTok stars and SoundCloud rappers. That's the context. Alessia wasn't competing with other singers, songwriters. She was trying to tell thoughtful stories during a time when music was all about shock value and instant gratification, and it didn't help that the rollout was kind of non-existent. There was no viral marketing, no TikTok strategy, not that it was even fully a thing yet, but still no fashion forward.
I'm sandwiched between the two generations. I'm helping to give caregiver responsibilities to my dad and then my son.
Brokerage account is very important. Save your money, boys and girls. Save your money, invest. We're in a volatile world. It's too expensive. It's too expensive. Your future self a thank you. Invest now.
Rebrand, just Alessia in a suit standing in front of a beige background.
That's a big ass suit, man. That's the only thing I'm thinking about is that's a big ass suit. And the only thing I can remember from the rollout of this album is that was a big ass suit. Some things need to change. We don't need to completely change everything. She's a beautiful girl. She makes really heartfelt music. Great. I can't be thinking about 5 years later. What do I remember? The pains of growing, and I just remember this big ass Steve Harvey suit. I can't say that that's like A+ rollout. I can't. I'm sorry. I love her, but I can't. There's things you could do better next time with the rollout visually.
That was the aesthetic, and don't get me wrong, the metaphor behind the oversized suit was actually brilliant. It symbolized the uncomfortable fit of adulthood, of trying to grow into yourself, but let's be honest, that doesn't exactly scream clickable content. The truth is, her second album got lost, not because it was bad, but because it was quiet, and quiet music doesn't trend. Even critics who praised the project admitted it was easy to miss if you weren't paying attention, and that's the heartbreak of the modern industry.
And big ass suits don't connect with who I think this could make a change on. I think that she can go for that in the market of like being like the big sister to like little girls, right? I mean, can little girls really relate to this big ass JCPenney? This big ass JCPenney suit, man. I can't relate. I can't really. I mean, I'm not a little girl, but like in terms of just like, if I had a daughter, I don't know if she would be like, Daddy, I want to go to JCPenney and get that big ass Steve Harvey suit that Alessia Cara wore. You know what I mean? I can't see that. But, you know, for 20 somethings, for tweens, I don't know, maybe y'all got a different perception. Maybe y'all are like, I got the big ass suit theory. I get it. I understand. Maybe you did. I don't know. I can't speak for y'all. But I can see why I didn't land.
You can make the best art of your life, but if you're not loud, people will assume you disappeared. Alessia did not disappear, she just wasn't being shouted about anymore. And when a follow-up doesn't dominate like your debut, the narrative changes. Suddenly, you're not a young genius, you're a flop, a has-been, a Grammy-cursed case study, and that narrative is hard to shake, even when it's so far from the truth. So what happened after the pains of growing didn't make the noise people expected? Did she vanish, go into hiding, disappear to write a novel on a beach? Not exactly. Alessia Cara kept doing what she always did, writing music, singing her heart out, and minding her business. The only difference was that fewer people were watching. In 2021, she released her third studio album in the meantime. And let me just say, this is the album no one asked for, but everyone needed. It was deeper, more melancholic, and a little darker than anything she has done before.
I think I missed this album. I gotta go back and hear this.
She sang about insomnia, overthinking, existential dread. I always struggle with this word. Basically, the unofficial symptoms of being in your 20s during a pandemic. But again, she packaged all that heaviness.
Oh, I did hear. I heard the single, but I didn't hear the entire album.
In poetic, beautiful arrangements, songs like "Sweet Dream" and "Best Days."
What if my best days are the days I
Well, it's not like her team is not trying. They're trying. Like these visuals that I've seen, they don't look bad. They look good. They look good. It's just that I don't know. It's not one of those cases where I think I know better than her team and know better than her or anything of that nature. I guess I'm just pointing out the obvious, like Nessie Nova, just like something's not connecting.
left behind.
Or maybe it is. Maybe it's connecting how she wants it to connect, you know? I don't necessarily see any big changes from that album to this album. It looks like she's continuing to maintain the same marketing strategies, and I think she's thinking that if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Chasing the charts, they weren't trying to go viral, they were trying to say something, to actually express something, and maybe that's exactly why they didn't blow up.
She's one of those artists, I will say this though, she's one of those artists where it's going to be 10 years from now, and like, she's my generation as well as like Gen Z, because I'm not like the oldest millennial. I'm kind of like on the cusp of like, I'm not a Gen Z, but like I'm like the youngest of the millennial. So me and Gen Z are on the cusp. I say that to say that we're both of our generations are going to look back in 10 years and be like, we didn't deserve her. We didn't appreciate her enough. She's that type of artist. It's going to be, she's going to have like in 10 years, she's probably going to, maybe she'll still be touring, but she's probably going to have a book club. She's probably going to have a garden club. She's probably going to have her own ranch or something like that. She's going to completely move on. And I imagine her like Khalees, like she's going to do something very wholesome. She's probably going to have a beautiful family. And we're going to look and be like, we did not appreciate her enough. And that happens too. This may be the gift and the curse of Alessia Cara. This really may be, as much as she's gifted, those same gifts can be a curse in some regard.
Required people to actually listen. There was almost no buzz around the release. Music blogs barely mentioned it, playlists skipped it, and fans who had been with her since the know-it-all days didn't even know the album dropped. And that's not because the album was weak, it's because the machine behind her just got quiet.
To be fair, it was a pandemic. That was hard. I think we were focused on other things, like whether or not we're gonna die or not. Like I just think that she released that album in a time that we were still like life was being readjusted for all of us. Like we're just trying to figure out a bunch of things. Like it's just like the timing of it. And honestly, that I think it's more so that than like something that was a misfire. But I don't know. You let me know in the comment box what you think.
Her label didn't even push the album like they did the first one. There was no viral moment.
I'm giving Alessia Cara and her team a lot of grace in this video. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, industry hype. Just Alessia releasing an intimate body of work in the middle of a noisy world. And when an artist like her doesn't have the same volume as the industry giants, she gets drowned out. But here's what's interesting. She seems okay with it. She still tours, no stadiums, but intimate venues with real fans who actually care about the music. She still collaborates. She still writes. And every now and then she drops a cover or a live acoustic performance that reminds everyone she still has an amazing voice.
I gotta listen to the album for sure.
But mainstream media just moved on. Her name doesn't trend, her releases don't chart, her face isn't splashed across the internet, and it begs the question, what exactly did she do wrong? Because from the outside, Alessia's story isn't one of failure, it's just one of quiet consistency, which unfortunately doesn't fit into the drama-obsessed narrative the music industry thrives on. Alessia wasn't forgotten, she was just never loud enough for an industry that rewards noise over nuance. And that's not a criticism of her, it's a criticism of us.
Nuance is more of an underground thing. That's more of like a fight the machine, fight the system type of quality. You don't really achieve mainstream success without noise, to be honest. I learned that from XXXTentacion. Like he was so loud. Usually that loudness, you lead with magnitude, you lead with loudness. And then your message comes behind that. But you have to be able to be like, here, look at me, guys, look at me, look at me. You have to do that. It's just part of the game, it seems like.
Fans, the media, the system, because maybe the problem isn't Alessia falling off, maybe the problem is our definition of success.
That part. Bingo, bingo, bingo.
That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this one. And please let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think happened to Alessia Cara's career? Do you think she was overlooked, or is she right where she wants to be?
She's right where she wants to be, in my opinion.
Would love to hear your thoughts. I love Alessia so much. I love her music. Her music means so much to me. It really helped me through a dark time. So Alessia, thank you. I know you're listening. But anyways, with that being said, thank you.
These videos actually reached the artist. She probably did see it.
For being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you very, very soon.
Great video, Nessie Nova. I'll leave your link in the description box if you just want to see the original video without me like yapping on it. It's there. So shout out to Nessie Nova.